To nationalise or not to nationalise? That is the question. That's what we've been asked. It has always been a matter of great discussion in UK politics, which involves all aspects of our lives, from policing, NHS, Royal Mail, schools, water, gas, internet and telephony providers, the BBC and British Airways, and even our railways. We would like to talk about whether to nationalise or not to nationalise our railways. However, we are not going to give you an opinion. We want to hear from you. We've done some research, and it is an absolute minefield with pros and cons on both sides. We're going to mention a few of them, but really, we'd like to know what you think. We are looking at this from the point of view of what is best for us, the travelling public. So here we go. A recent YouGov poll gave the following results. 60% of respondents voted for the railways to be returned to public ownership, with 25% wanting them to remain in private ownership. 15% of people who had a very strong opinion on the matter felt they had to fill in the poll with the answer, "Don't know." Oh, wait a minute, who does that? Who would spend the time and effort to fill out a poll only to answer, "Don't know"? Surely you would not take the time and effort to do the poll if you were going to answer like that. If anyone has ever filled out a poll with a "don't know" response, we would like to hear from you, and we may even do a video on it. Anyway, back to the matter in hand. So what do we want as a passenger? Well, cheaper fares, more reliable services and a fairer deal for taxpayers was once the rallying cry behind privatisation of the railways. 20 years on and the debate has gone full circle. The very same is being promised by advocates of renationalisation, whilst passengers, and indeed ourselves, are left understandably bewildered. Not all railways in the UK are privatised. Northern Ireland's rail system has remained nationalised since 1948. However, there are currently 18 rail franchises in England, Scotland and Wales. With the odd exception, the shortest contracts run for 7 years, although 10 years is much more common. As someone said to me with regards to Abellio ScotRail, right now we have a government-owned company running our railways. It just happens to be owned by the government of the Netherlands instead of our own. Before that, the ScotRail franchise had gone to the first group, and money flowed straight from taxpayers and passengers to shareholders. Passenger satisfaction, according to the National Rail Passenger Survey, has risen from 76% in 1999, when the survey started, to 83% in 2013. And the number of passengers not satisfied with their journey dropped from 10% to 6%. Satisfaction with rail in the UK is the second highest in the EU, behind Finland. The poll found that our average UK satisfaction over 4 different areas was 78%, which is ahead of France at 74%, Germany 51%, and Italy lagging at 39%. Passenger satisfaction with ScotRail is above average for the UK, with 87% of travellers content with the service. However, value for money satisfaction dips to a lowly 59%, and only 76% said they had enough room to sit or stand. Since privatisation, the number of national rail journeys has increased by 117% to in 2014, and the number of passenger kilometres has more than doubled. There is controversy over how much this is due to privatisation and how much is due to other factors such as rising fuel prices, road congestion, low unemployment, and in particular GDP growth. Critics of privatisation, such as the RMT Union, have pointed out that passenger numbers started rising 18 months before the privatisation process began. As the economy started recovering from the recession of the early 1990s. However, this increase has continued during the entire duration of privatisation, with passenger numbers growing much faster than in comparable European countries such as France or Germany. I could bamboozle you with figures all day, but I remember the days of British Rail and I used the railways a lot. In the days of British Rail, we found the trains dirty, slow and unreliable. We all remember the British Rail sandwich. Back then I was a child, so my rail fares were subsidised by mum and dad, so this proved great value for money. Today we have faster and newer trains that are more reliable, but not always cleaner. Is this just progress, as we now have faster, smarter and more reliable cars today? Or is it privatisation? I still travel on trains that were built in the 1970s and 1980s. Rail fares are expensive for the commuter and peak travellers, and we do have the most expensive rail fares in Europe. But if you can book in advance or travel off-peak, the fares are much friendlier on the pocket. We've always had rail cards, both through the British Rail years and through privatisation, such as the 16 to 25 young persons rail card, the family rail card, the senior rail card, and many others. Well, that's Pandora's box opened, so let's have your views and comments and opinions in the comments below, and we'll do another video on this topic in a few months with the results and opinions, and finally answer the question, to be or not to be. As always, thanks for watching. We do hope you enjoyed this video. Please watch our other videos and like, share and subscribe to our channel. We look forward to reading all your comments.